Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video a slightly different format for reasons which I'll go into shortly. But anyway, this is the Core P8 tempered glass full tempered chassis. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so today's video, obviously you can see the screen at the moment and you probably can't see me. Now the reason behind that is because this case is an absolute monster. This is a E-ATX Full Tower Chassis, and for that reason all you're going to be seeing in this video is segments from Thermaltake's site, so thank you Thermaltake for allowing us to use that, and also some cutaways which I've already filmed. Sadly, because of our confines of our kind of studio space and also the zoom range of our camera, even at the lowest 12mm, I still can't get myself and the case in. In fact, I can't get the whole case in, as you can probably see from some of the B-roll here. So I'm going to go through the site and I'm going to point out some of the bits which I find interesting and also go through some of the specifications of this absolutely monstrous case. So let's head straight into it and we'll scroll down through the site. So looking, first of all, if we click on this to expand, this is essentially the kind of crazy levels that you can go to if you wanted to, should you have the space, the time and the money. For me, this is an absolutely amazing case. There is essentially no real boundaries to what you can do with it, other than how deep are your wallets and how big is your workspace. Essentially, you can pretty much put anything you like in here. We've got room for up to 480mm rads in both the side and also the front section, and we've got space for 420s in the top. It's just an absolutely insane case. Essentially, it's designed for either vertical mounting, as you can see in this picture here, or for actually mounting onto a wall. It does have VESA wall mounting sections on the back, which yeah, you'll probably be seeing. So it's got VESA 75, VESA 100, and the VESA 200 by 100 mounts on the rear, which then go through the chassis itself to make it ultra secure. So yeah, wall mounting is a possibility, or desk mounting if you've got a large enough desk, or maybe even under the desk. Although saying that, at this height you may struggle to actually fit it under a desk. So yeah, do bear that in mind if you're thinking of getting one. Now obviously when you get the case itself, it doesn't come populated with all that kit. You can put it in if you want to, but essentially this is how it will arrive. So this is the chassis itself. You've got tempered glass on this, what I'm going to call front section, and also then you've got tempered glass on the side, or the kind of the real front. This I think is essentially the front section. So this is the bit which really people are going to be looking at, or you're going to be looking at, depending if it's wall mounted or not. So we've got glass in this top section, we've got glass in this section down here, and also we've got this massive, huge panel, which is an entire piece of 4mm tempered glass. Looking at the back of the case, yeah, you've got the pretty much usual stuff here, although everything is just larger. So at the bottom here, this is where your power supply is going to go, and you've got an outlet for cables, etc. You've also got a mounting option for a 120 or 140mm fan. Moving up from that, you've got your PCIe Express blanking plates, all of which are removable and replaceable, reusable, and also rotatable. So as it comes standard, it comes to you in the kind of the GPU mounting, so you can mount your graphics card with like a cooler on, water cooler, that sort of thing, in the vertical mounting, but you can just twist that around 90 degrees and turn it into a traditional horizontal mount. Above that, you've also got another room for a 120 or 140mm fan, and you've got your traditional I/O section here. Actually, I could be lying. I think this is actually just a 120 in this top section. So 120 fan or a 120 radiator, should you wish to. Moving around to the front of the case, so you probably see some B-roll of this also. So we've got that tempered glass panel, again, totally removable if you wanted to. You've got a nice big power button next to a couple of LEDs for hard drive activity and power. You've got a pair of USB 3.1 Gen 1 or 3.2 Gen 1. I always get those confused. Then you've got two USB 2.0, and then you've got your USB Type-C as well, which is always a very nice addition to see. Separate mic and headphone jacks, and then also a reset switch at the bottom. Nice little Thermaltake logo also. And taking another look, so you can see the three tempered glass panels all at once there, which I can't really do with my camera itself, although you may be seeing some shots of this. So yeah, big tempered glass front panel, big one on the front and big one on the top. It just looks an absolute beast, it really does. But just because it's all glass doesn't mean the cooling is bad. There's loads and loads of air gaps, etc., to allow air to flow. And obviously, because you've got such a large chassis, actually, even if it was semi-sealed, you would still struggle to build up much heat in that because of how much volume is physically inside it. On the rear of the case, you've got 3 screws each side to actually remove the side panel. So you've got one here, one here, one here, one there, and one there. After removing all 6 of those thumb screws or loosening them off, then the whole back panel comes off, and the whole back panel itself is literally about the same weight as a fully built normal PC. It is a hefty piece of work, it really is. And you can see there we've got ventilation down this side for the radiators or fans if you're putting them in there. And there is actually a magnetic filter, which you're probably going to see as well. And this section is your VESA mounting area. So like I said, we've got the 200 by 100, which is the long one. Then you've got VESA 100, and you've got VESA 75 in the middle there if you want to wall mount it. Obviously, if you're thinking about wall mounting, look at your brackets, look at the total weight of the system. Bear that in mind, this is going to be heavy. So yeah, get a substantial wall mounting kit. So design-wise, you can see here, this is with them with their fully built system, showing you what it's all like. Yeah, basically it's a complete light vest and water cooling, absolute wet dream. Excuse the pun, it really is. So radiators and cooling and custom designs are what this case is all about. It really is absolutely stunning, and I really wish I could do a decent build on it, I really do, but I honestly just do not have the sheer volume of components and enough stuff to do it justice. I really don't. I would feel particularly peeved having used this case and using what equipment I have. It just really wouldn't do it justice, and it would look really out of place. This is designed for those that are really taking their design and system to the max. So anyway, let's go through the specifications quickly. So it's the Core P8TG Full Tower. You've got the dimensions there, which you can check out. Also, you've got the net weight. So the net weight, literally with it empty out of the box, is 22 kilos. That is essentially what a bag of cement is here in the United Kingdom. When you buy a bag of cement from your local building store or a big bag of sand, that is the weight of it roughly. So this is a heavy case, no doubt about it, and is probably a good 2 to 3 times heavier than a traditional case. So obviously do please bear that in mind. Tempered glass, 3 of them, 4mm thickness, as we said, colour is black, material is SPCC, and we've got drive bays. So there is basically, because of how big it is, you can put pretty much what you want where you want. There are room in here for 3 3.5 inch drives or 6 2.5 inch drives with the brackets on the back, and you can actually use the pump bracket, doubles up as a hard drive bracket or SSD bracket for 2.5 inch drives. 8 expansion slots, motherboard there. Basically, yeah, you can put essentially what you want in there, so up to 12 inch by 13 inch, which is extended ATX, although technically not a complete standard, but yeah, you get the general idea. I/O is the traditional stuff, so yeah, 1 USB 3.1 Gen 2, Type C, 2 USB 3.0 times 2, and 2 USB 2.0, and your HD audio. Power supply takes up to a 200mm power supply. Fan support, we'll take a look at that a little bit later because it's a little bit boring. Essentially clearances, that's one quite interesting. CPU cooler limit is 180mm, so you can put a decent size tower cooler in there if you wanted to. Realistically, I don't think many people will, but certainly it is an option. VGA length limitation is 280mm if you're using a reservoir. If you're using it without a reservoir, 320mm. And PSU length limitation, as we said, 200mm. So yeah, scrolling down through shows you more pictures. You get an idea of it there. That is next to a large monitor, got a keyboard and mouse, and the mouse is absolutely dwarfed by the size of the PC. It is just insane. Built for makers, so you can actually go to the 3D Maker site and download basically accessories for if you are into doing your own printing at home with a 3D printer, and you can make out bits and pieces to go in here. Very useful. It is transformable, as I probably have alluded to already. So on the left hand side here, you can see this is the fully enclosed version with the glass all on. You can, if you want it, have is kind of like a semi-open PC case. So you can see there the sections are taken out. Obviously this is going to reduce your mounting options, so you won't be able to put fans in the top section because that metal bit will be out, and same goes pretty much for some of the bottom section. And also you may have some limitations with your mounting for graphics cards, etc. But if you're a maker, then I'm sure you can find a way of doing it. But yeah, either way, whichever way you want to do it, It's a shame really they don't sell a version without all that stuff, slightly cheaper, because if this is the look you actually want, the open look, you don't want the fully enclosed look, there's a lot of components there you're wasting. So it would be nice if they actually did a different SKU with just those bits. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, 4mm tempered glass windows and glass, two-way placement, so yeah, either desk or wall mounted, as we said. Rotational PCIe slots, we touched on that already, so you're probably seeing some B-roll of that also. So the slots, or that whole bracket, comes out and you can put it into the more traditional mounting method. Dust reduction, there's loads of filtration on here with magnetic filters. There's one in the bottom, there's also one in the top, and also one in that side section, which again you'll probably see some B-roll of. Expansion liquid cooling, so this is where this is going to get interesting, because this is going to be what people actually need to know. So you've got the dimensions there and what can be put in. So we've talked about these already: motherboard size, CPU, cooler height. Fan capacity is something which people are going to be quite interested in. So if you click on the 120mm thing on their site, you can go through and you can see what fits. So you can put 4 in the top, 4 in the side, 4 in the front, and 2 in the back, and another 4 in the very bottom. If you're going for 140mm fans, that reduces your kind of scope a little, especially in that top section. So you can have 3 in the top, 3 in the rear, 3 in the front, and 3 in the bottom. 1 at the very bottom by the power supply, but none by the well, technically where your VRMs are going to be on your motherboard, which is going to be in this area here. So this section you cannot populate with the 140. You could obviously, if you want to, do a combination of 120s and 140s to suit your needs. Radiators is another one which people are going to be asking about. So let's start off with the biggest one. So 480mm. You can put in either the front section or in the side section, as highlighted there in white. If you're going for a 420, again, same sort of deal. 360mm, you can have that in 3 positions, so top, side and front. And 280mm you can have in the top and the side. 240s, you can have top, middle or bottom, and front as well also. They've also added that section there in the bottom, so you can put a 240 in the bottom. 140 wise, yeah, a bit pointless, but certainly you can put one top, middle or side. And 120s, not that you'd want to, but yeah, potentially you can put them in there as well. So that is all the fan mounting options. And of course they do actually have those handy ports on the front, as we said, so we'll just go through that. There is an exploded view of the modular design, so you can break this down incredibly. So you can see here is your filters, etc. So you've got the base section, you've got the feet down here, the filter, fan mountings, then on top of that you've got the front section, the rear section. Basically everything comes apart. So you start off with this core part here, hence I guess with the core name of this series of cases, and that is what you build your frame up on. So if you wanted to, you probably could just get away with just using that. You might struggle to mount some things, but certainly that is what all these other components are for. So you've got your power supply mounting, you've got your rear I/O for the PCI Express, you've got your rear panel altogether, which can be removed. So basically you can see there everything that can be removed. It is very, very open. Ready to support, we've gone through that already, but there's another exploded view of it so you can get an idea. Fan support as well, and I think that's pretty much it for there. So looking at the case itself, there's a couple of things which probably I personally, you can probably see me in the reflection of the case now, this is ridiculous that it just physically will not fit. We have not got enough room in here. But a couple of things which I kind of picked up on, which I personally would have liked to have seen done slightly differently, but it isn't any, well, it's not a deal breaker. If this is the style of case you want, you haven't got a lot of choice. For me, the radiator mountings in the bottom for the actual magnetic filters, they're a little bit tricky to get hold of, so a little bit difficult to pull out. I'd like to have seen those on plastic sleds. Same for the top one. You do have to remove the side panel in order to take the filters out. But other than that, really, there's not a lot to dislike about it, other than the fact that it is absolutely huge. And if I let the camera go back a little bit further, and hopefully if I get down, you can see now, you can get an idea of scale. So if I put my head next to it, my big head, you can see this is an absolute huge case. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing a build in this because, like I said, I cannot justify, I can't afford the bits that go in it. Literally, I can't. This is an absolute baller's case. It really is. It's massive. I love it. I hope they do a smaller version. If this is the P8, I would love to see a P3. which would be either micro ATX or just slightly smaller ATX. But anyway, let me know what you think about this one in the comments section. Sorry it's been a bit of a weird video, but I wanted to show you bits of the case and some of the B-roll and stuff which I've already filmed. But yeah, it's a really difficult one for me to do an actual teardown on the desk, because you can't really get us both in at the same time without, well, yeah, CAF is basically balancing at the moment. It's not good. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video and it's given you an insight to the case itself. In the meantime, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll see you in the wider camera lens. Thanks for watching.